It's time to pay the climate bill. That is what the leaders of many developing nations that have been flooded or parched due to the climate change are pleading from richer countries. Leaders from around the world are meeting in Egypt for the COP27 Summit to discuss the next steps in curbing climate change. And frontline nations say that they want special compensation for the climate impacts that they cannot recover from. At the same time, Israeli President Herzog has taken to the stage to promise net zero carbon emissions by 2050 in Israel, despite Israel's Attorney General deciding to prevent the government from actually pushing a bill through to make that happen. So what can we expect out of Israel specifically when it comes to tackling climate change? Well, joining us now is Youval Arbel, the Deputy Director of the Zalul Environmental Association of Israel. So Youval, we're hearing a lot of talk from Israeli leaders about combating climate change, but are they walking the walk, so to speak?
So there was maybe the beginning of moving from declaration to real action, but we are very, very late. In Israel, we are still around 10% of alternative energy or non-fossil fuel energy, mostly from solar energy, and we should move much faster. In 2030, we should be by 50%. It's possible. We'll have a lot of sun, and the technology of the solar panels and also use of batteries and other sources to maintain the electricity for all over the year, at night, even in rainy days, is here already for a few years. So implementation is not just in declaration. This is the slogan, and I hope it's not only a slogan of this conference, of this convention, and Israel should move forward. Our neighbors are much better. In Jordan, for example, 25% of the energy of electricity is by solar panels, and we can do even exchange of water. We submitting water to them or selling water. They can sell us energy from solar panels and other initiatives. All our roofs in our buildings and houses should be covered with solar panels that will be in the city. So even it will be cheaper for us. We can pay lower bill of electricity, because they will need to transmit the lines of electricity from the far Negev to the cities.
So, Youval, you mentioned that Israel is very much behind when it comes to actually taking action to fight climate change. Why is that the case, in your opinion? Is this coming from above? Is this coming from the government? Or is there a lack of interest by Israeli society to make a change?
I think for many years was a lack of interest. 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago, we found the gas, that we drill in the sea, and we or the government didn't understand the world already moving forward. The gas was a transition for moving to alternative or non-fossil fuels. The gas is also methane, which is worse than CO2. When we're talking about climate warming, it's global warming gas, methane, much worse than CO2. And while we produce it, while we drill it and transmit it, there is a lot of leakages, and even very small leakages will create extra gas emission of greenhouse effect emissions. So we should also move forward from the gas. It's a transition time into non-fossil fuels, and even reduce our energy consumption. I think all the economy based that we will produce more for search and service, but we can get the same services with less energy. So what we should think how we can minimize our use of materials and energy without the growth can continue, but continue with services which not consume more energy. This is the real thing that we have to think about.
So quick answer on this next question. Israel's about to see a new incoming government. Do we know about any of the policies that have been proposed from this coalition to actually tackle climate change? Is there any initiative so far?
So I know from the new government, but from the last government, there are a few initiatives, nice initiative of climate tech initiatives that talking about how can Israel, with technology, very progressive technology, to reduce our carbon footprint. For example, in food tech technology, how can we consume more vegetative or plant-based food instead of animal-based, or industry, which produce much more green gas to the atmosphere. And so other, like hydrogen could be the new source of shifting energy from the solar panel to cars, to transportation, or to other industries.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. We're out for a quick break here, but obviously the COP Summit is going to be continuing for the next 2 weeks, and let's hope that there's actual change that is implemented. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us.